guys, what's up? Ragtter here, welcoming you back to Ladder Anxiety, and tonight we're playing something a little different. The Whispers of the Old Gods expansion just launched for Hearthstone, and I decided to crack some packs and see what it was like. I ended up with a golden legendary called Fandral Staghelm, and so you know that just for the swag I had to build a deck around it, which is exactly what I did. It's a choose one deck, and as you can see from the cards in my hand, a lot of the cards in this deck have an effect where I pick one effect or another. Fandral, however, lets me get both of them at the same time. So naturally, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this just because of the zany combinations you can get. So on my first turn here, I'm going to coin into my Druid of the Saber, going to get a nice stealth magic kitty that's going to sit on my board and scare my opponent, except my opponent's not afraid and is going to summon a totemic golem. And I'm like, I've never seen that before. I was only gone for a few months. What the hell, Hearthstone? So I'm going to innovate into my Mirelurker, which is going to give me an empty mana crystal, so gotta get that mana ramp going. And my opponent's going to throw down a totem, and it's the best freaking totem he could get in this situation. It's the healing one, so he's going to be able to kill my poor Mirelurker and then get his HP back, so I can't ping him off with my 1 damage Wrath, which would let me draw a card. So I'm kind of salty about that, but you know, the RNG is RNG. It's why you play this game, it's like Pokemon. So I'm going to Wrath that thing away with the 3 damage, I'm going to use my Wild Growth to get a mana crystal, and then I'm going to destroy that healing totem because I'm not having any of its nonsense. Do you know how many games I've lost to that thing just because it lets my opponent put way more offensive pressure on me than it should? A lot. I don't play this game that often, I play the Pokemon trading card game way more, but still. So my opponent's going to summon a magic walrus and going to get another totemic golem out of it, then he's going to rock biter weapon, going to smack my kitty in the face. I'm like, come on guy, that's not cool. So now, I decide I'm going to play my Savage Combatant, which because of all that mana ramping that I did earlier, I can get my Inspire effect, and I can kill that stupid frickin' walrus. That does leave the totemic golem out there, but I'm not as afraid of it because it trades, or my minion trades into that. Although it does leave it at 1 HP, you know, I still get rid of it. And I'm also not too afraid because I've got my Druid of the Claw waiting the wings. I can turn that guy into a big taunt or a super aggressive charger. But there is one thing that I'm lacking, and it's draw power. And as this thought is dawning on me, he plays the overloading Wonder Twins down there, and he's going to zap my poor Savage Combatant Bearman with some lightning, and he's going to smack it with his Totemic Golem and get rid of it. And I'm like, oh jeez Louise, man. You're just not giving me a good time. And then he gets the frickin' Taunt Totem. But that's when I pull Fandral, and actually that made me kind of upset because in 2 turns, I could play that on the same turn as my Druid of the Claw and get a super powerful minion out of it. You know, a charge with taunt, 4/6 for 4 mana. That'd be so good. But instead, I'm forced to use my hero power to chip away at his totem. And then he summons this gross Murloc, which summons a grosser sounding minion. Like seriously, did you hear the sound effect on that? How nasty can you be? So gross. Then he's going to play Evolve, which is going to randomize his whole board and make it all cost 1 more. And he ends up getting a Pyromancer. And that's going to do damage to everybody, which because of that siege thing, is going to give him a whole bunch of armor. And I'm like, come on with this. This is so dumb. And I don't want to trade into anything with my bear. I also don't want that Doomsayer to stay around. So I'm forced to go for the swipe, which is going to give him an even bigger buttload of armor, so that I can keep my bear around, knock out his Doomsayer with my hero power and the bear together. But he has nothing on his board. We both have the same number of cards in our hand. He's got a lot of armor, but I feel like I'm in a good position, especially since I've got Fandral in my hand. He gets the healing totem again, and then he decides he's going to zap my bear. And I'm like, come on, guy. You've abused my bears enough. Leave them alone. All they're trying to do is be out here and be bears. So then he's going to do the same basic thing, but on a smaller scale, with this minion, and he gets a shield bearer from his totem out of it. So now I'm going to play Fandral, and I'm going to use my Mark of the Wild to make it into a super duper ultra Fandral Staghelm. However, this does make it a target. My intention here was to give it enough HP to survive whatever kind of removal he wanted to throw at me, because Shamans get some stupid removal. but it does make it a target for these minions, so you take what you can get. Then he plays the Thing from Below, and again, why is everything in this expansion so gross? I get the old gods have tentacles, I get they're weird, but come on man, everything is just nasty in this. Then he gets the Taunt Totem again, and at this point I'm tearing my hair out. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? The Black Knight comes along, and then I realize that's what I'm supposed to do. So I get rid of the Thing from Below with my Black Knight, and then, just to ensure that I can get off all the damage I can with Fandral, I use my Savage Roar to rip into the Taunt Totem and then do 10 damage to my opponent's face. And that made me so happy. And now I've got the Black Knight out here, I've got Fandral. I don't have any cards to play though. That is the main downside. My opponent has completely worn me out, and I haven't gotten any of the draw cards that I normally pack into this deck. So now my opponent gonna play out a Silver Hand Knight, and gonna get a little Squire out of that too. And that leaves me with Sylvanas Windrunner. I think that my card is cooler, but I definitely do need to be careful since he is gaining significant board presence. I'm gonna smack him in the face a bit, knock him low, and he's gonna bust out the Hex, and he's gonna turn poor Sylvanas into a frog. I'm like, come on, guy. You keep bullying my poor minions. What am I supposed to do? What am I gonna tell their families? Then he busts out the Fire Elemental, knocks Fandral down super low, and he's going to run his Squire into it and take Fandral out. Then he's going to knock my Frog out with his Silver Hand Man, and that leaves the Black Knight all alone. But I am not without options. I go into charge for him. I go with my Magic Kitty, my Black Knight, and Malfurion, and I'm able to pick up the clean victory there. So, that was a lot of fun, and it taught me a lot about my deck. So now we're going to move into a second game against a Warlock, and this isn't just any Warlock, this is a Warlock with an animated portrait. So this Warlock has won at least 500 games with Gul'dan. Now I get this opening hand, and I'm so tempted to trade it, but then I see the 1, 2, 3, 4 mana combo, and I'm like, it must be destiny. I must be destined to have this hand. Albeit it's not in order, but I have all of the pieces there, so it's fine. I also end up going second, so I do get a coin, so I can coin into my Druid of the Saber again. I get the Black Knight again, and he's out here supporting me, man. The Black Knight has my back. Now, I am debating for a while here, you can see me. I'm not sure whether I want to play my Druid of the Saber, or I want to get some saplings first. I do decide to get my Stealth Kitty. I'm gonna sit out there and scare my opponent a bit. I'll save the saplings for... My current plan is turn 5, when I can play Fandral, and then I can play the saplings, get some damage, get some minions, and get Fandral out there. And then he plays this taunt that powers up his Cthulhu, and I'm like, oh lord, come on. Not one of these are everywhere. So I decide to hero power and Magic Kitty into his face, and now I've lost my stealth, and I'm practically expecting the Mortal Coil, mostly because I couldn't remember what mana it costs. Like I said, I play the Pokemon trading card game way more than I play this. But he decides to play Blood Mage Thanatos, and this card that I had not seen prior, apparently it turns into different cards when it's in your hand, and I was like, well, why didn't you keep it in your hand, guy? Probably to put some offensive pressure onto me. So I'm going to buff up my Magic Kitty, going to give it Taunt and lots of HP, and knowing that I'm forcing his hand here, basically, I'm just going to go right for his face. I don't feel the need to trade into either of these minions, and he's just going to Shadow Bolt my kitty. Once again, abusing my animals, like, come on, guy. But then I pull Savage Combatant, and I've got some more options to play with now. Even though I can't get the Inspire effect this turn, I am going to be able to play it, and I am going to be able to once again put offensive pressure onto my opponent by having this relatively large minion out here on the board this early. And then he plays another card I hadn't seen before this game. It gets Taunt and another HP, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I've been away for too long. But I pull my Druid of the Claw, and I have Fandral, and I'm a happy boy right now, because the sky is the limit for me, but I am debating on how I want to do this. So I decide to drop the 2 damage onto Thanatos, which is going to give him a card, but it also gets rid of his spell damage, and I get 2 minions out of it, plus I've got Fandral out here, and his 1/1 little thing isn't going to be enough to hurt me. Also, Fandral has that weird visual glitch, which has happened every time I played Fandral. I don't know what it is or why it happens, but it happens. So he's going to knock out Fandral right away, which makes me upset. If I had saved it for later, I probably could have preserved it, but I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to put some presence on the board. And I get my Druid of the Saber, and I'm like, if you had been here one turn earlier, I would have waited. But I'm going to get 3 attack courtesy of my Inspire effect, and here I'm deciding, do I want to make this minion tough, or do I want to make it strong? And initially I was like, I'm going to give it Taunt, but then I realized I can do a lot of damage with that thing. So I threw one of my Saplings and Malfurion into his Cultist, and then I'm going to throw a nice hefty 10 damage my opponent's way with my Combatant and with my Sapling. And I feel really confident now because based on what my opponent has played so far, and then based on this life tap, I can tell that probably not a whole lot left to deal with my presence. Ends up drawing a Hellfire and using it against me though. But that's fine, he's chipped away even more of his HP, and I've still got a lot waiting in the wings. So, deciding to get aggressive, I put down both my Shapeshifting Druids, and I rip into my opponent's face with their charge effects, and that has exhausted all of my mana, and pretty much all of the board presence I'm going to have in the near future. These two could have been a threat on the board because of their stealth and their taunt, but I decided to go aggressive with them, and my kitty cat's going to suffer for that, and he's going to play down the Psychotron, and I'm like, if I didn't have the Black Knight, I would be so disappointed right now, but I do, so goodbye. I'm going to deal 2 damage to the Warlock's face, and then I'm going to attack with my Magic Kitty Cat, and then that's going to be the game. So, even though I wanted to show off Fandral most of all, I didn't end up using him to his full effect. You can get some really, really cool combos with that card, but in the end, I like that the deck showed its own stability. That made me really happy. And I thought it was worth it. It was definitely worth for me to sit down and spend the dust that I did to make this deck. So, if you guys have enjoyed, then please let me know with a like and a comment down below telling me just how much fun you've had, and if you want to see more Hearthstone, then let me know. And if you don't want to see any more Hearthstone, then let me know that too, and we'll never play this game on the channel again. I actually, for a while, was not playing this game on the channel, because one video that I uploaded received a lot of negative attention, because I didn't play well. So everyone came into the comment section and bullied me about Sometimes they bullied me about the game. Sometimes they bullied me about pretty much everything else. So I haven't uploaded Hearthstone in a long time because of that. But if you guys are going to be supportive of it, then I'll bring it back. And if not, then we'll never touch this game again. But I just wanted to show off my cool golden legendary. So until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Until then, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye!